Alright guys, we have another math video here, and this one is going to be very, very important. Honestly, I didn't even know how to exactly the way they wanted us to do these on the test. I looked through the guide so you didn't have to, and I'm now going to show you how to do the problems that are like calculating a loan or mortgage. If it says like how much should they pay back each month for like whatever, a mortgage loan, same thing. Like any of these things, a car payment, if it's calculating one of these, there's actually a special formula that's kind of a modification of like the interest formulas from previous years. But yeah, I've never seen this before, like in previous years. So again, I didn't know how to do this, but I have the exact problems in the guide, and so we'll go over those and use those as the problems. So let's switch over to this paint scene here so I can show this. And our first example, where I'll go through it with you, is a car that costs $20,000 and the interest on it is 6.5% monthly. Now that's important. I'll just put MON. Make sure you note how often the payment is. And we've taken out a 5-year loan. So it's over 5 years. And then the question is, what is your monthly payment? Also, if you see this light, it's because there's a window above me and it's very bright. I can't do much about that. Um, so if you remember from previous years, or just you've probably done this in math at some point, the formula for compound interest is your total amount of money, call it A, is your principal times the quantity of 1 plus your rate over the number of times it is compounded in a year, close parenthesis, and then to the power of the total number of times it will be compounded. So in this equation, again, A is the total money after the time, P is your initial money you put in, R is the rate of interest you're making, N is the number of times per year it's being compounded. So if it's compounded quarterly, then it's 4. Bi-yearly, then it's 2. Things like that. And then T is the number of years. All right, so N times T is going to be the total number of times. Because if you do it 12 times a year for 5 years, like what our problem up here, once a month, or 12 times in a year, for 5 years, it would be 60 to the power 60. Now, the modification for paying off a loan, since we're not making money, we're actually losing money, so we have to spend more money. The modification here is actually we have to, the amount that it costs, we'll call that A still, we have to actually multiply this because since there's interest, we're ending up paying more than the amount. If you know, like that's kind of how loans work. And so let me just make sure I have this exactly right. I'm trying to, yeah. So it's that formula that we had before. R over N to the NT. And this is the left side of our equation. And this is simply the the A and P in this version of the equation, not this version, but this version, the A and P are kind of interchangeable. I've seen it A and P on both sides. As long as you know which is which, it's fine. This 20,000 is going to be our A value because that's how much it costs. And so this is how much it's going to appreciate in value. How much, like, whoever's loaning us the money is expecting to get back after the 5 years. Because, like, this is the exact formula for the interest. Because from their perspective, they are making compound interest. That's what is happening. Let me scroll back up to this problem. And so this is relatively simple to find. You just plug in all the numbers. And then the other side, since it's what we're doing from the loany whatever perspective, we instead have to do our amount that we're paying monthly. So this will be the number where our goal that we're trying to find actually. And then the same thing, R over N to the NT minus 1, and there's actually another set of parentheses here I forgot, all over R over N. Now, why is it this formula, you might ask? I have no idea. But that's what it is. And so, from this point, ignoring the problem we already have, we now know the formula here. This is the amount we should be making in payments. This is the total amount we'll be paying. And then R, N, and T are the same. The rate, the number of times in a year, and the number of years. Now, we essentially just, obviously write this down on your paper and fill in all the numbers. So what we want to do is then fill in our numbers. We have 20,000, 1 plus, and then remember 6.5 is going to be 0.065. You move the decimal over 2 spots to the left, over 12 to the 60 power, as we said before, equals what we're trying to find. So that's going to remain a variable. That's a p. It's poorly drawn. 1 plus 0.065 over 12 to the 60 minus 1 over 0.065 over 12. Now I'm going to show you a cool trick on the calculator real quick on how to do this. So let's hop over to the calculator. And you can still see this formula down at the bottom for what we're using. Or let me slide this over. There it is. There's our formula that we just wrote out. And so we'll start by solving the left side, but take a step back here for a moment. Imagine we were trying to find A instead down here, like our A value. Imagine we didn't know this value and we did know our P value. Say the question was something like, we want to pay $750 a month. How big of a loan can we expect to take out? Then you would solve the right side first and then divide by this stuff on the left side. It all depends on which variable you're solving for. Hopefully this is like a reminder to your Algebra 1, Algebra 2 solving for equations. So then this particular equation, our goal is to solve for P. So I'm going to solve the left side to get just one value, not this big equation. So I'm going to just type it out the way it is. 20,000 parenthesis 1 plus, for the fraction I'm going to open another parenthesis, divided by 12, close parenthesis, to the 60th power. Enter. 27, let's write this down, 27656.35. Since it's money, we'll go to 2 decimal places. Sorry about that, headset turned off. And so now we know this is equal to the other side of the equation. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to take this value here that you see, the 0.065 divided by 12. You might notice how we see it 3 times. I could have even done it earlier. I'm just going to do it for these two. What you can do, you don't have to do this. You can do the parenthesis thing like before where I just put it in parentheses. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually type out that part. divided by 12. And I'm gonna hit this STO arrow button. It's right above the on key down here. I'm gonna hit that, and then I'm gonna hit alpha A. And now when I hit enter, we'll see like the value. That's what this actually evaluates to. And now whenever I type A, it's that value. It's A is a variable, and it's now storing that value. So now what I can do is, since I want to multiply, like since, to solve the equation, we want to multiply by the denominator on this side, and then we'll have this equals to this times this, right? And so now I'm just going to do that 27656.35 times A. Okay, 149.81. And now that's equal to this right here. And now I'm going to type in this whole part, ignoring P, and then do the left side divided by that. I just realized you can't see this. Let's see if I can move this upward. Right here. So we got 149.81, and now I'm going to type in this side, ignoring the P, and divide that 149.81 by that. So it's gonna, I'm gonna have to move it back so I can see it. Sometimes having a scuffed setup is really nice. Here, I'll just cover up this stuff. And then I'll hide that. There you go. So now we can both see it. A little bit more. Okay. So now I will do 1 plus A, because now we have that value stored to A, so I don't have to keep typing it, to the 60th power minus 1. And now I'm going to do this 149. Again, I can press up from a previous video, highlight that, and then hit divide, and go up here, divide by that. And now we should find that our P value, which is our final answer, our payment each month, is $391.32. And if I look over at the guide, they got $391.32. So we did the right thing. We got the right answer. Of course, I was rounding along the way to the hundredths places, so it might have been like 33 cents, 31 cents. It might have been very close. Just assume it's the right answer if you're within like 2 or 3 cents. Now let's try a problem that is the opposite. Let me see if I can find one right here. Here we go. Let me clear this. Let me change it here. No, don't save. Okay. So our next one is someone who's choosing to buy a new house, and they can make payments of up to $750 a month, I believe, monthly. Interest rates are 6%, 30 years. All right. So now right now, you go ahead and pause this video and see if you can recall that original equation, not with the numbers, just with the letters, to the best of your ability. And then I'll write it here. Okay, so if I recall, it is A times 1 plus R over N to the NT equals P. Same thing here, 2 parentheses, I always forget that. This is a parenthesis, not a 1. N to the NT minus 1 all over R to the N. Let me make sure you guys can see that, yep. And now, we know the P value, we know the R value right here. we have the t value, and it was n equals 12 because it's 12 times a year because it's monthly. And so now if we plug in all the numbers, we aren't going to have anything over here. We're just going to have a times 1 plus 0.06 over 12 to the 12 times 30 is going to be 360 equals 750. 1 plus 0.06 over 12 to the 360 power. Again, forgot a parenthesis, minus 1 all over, again, 0.06 divided by 12. Now I recommend here you pause the video and try to evaluate this on your calculator and see if you get the same answer as me to make sure you're putting all your parentheses in the right spot, doing everything correctly. We're solving for A here. And now, hopefully you paused the video, but I will do it now. Let me just make sure once I transition this that wait, let me just, yeah, we're just going to stay like this. This should work because we can see the whole thing here. So I'm going to start by saving that 0.06 over 12 to a variable. I'll do A again. It's 0.005. So now I'm going to do 750, open parenthesis, 1 plus A, close parenthesis, to the 360, minus 1. Don't want to forget that. Minus 1, close parenthesis. I'm going to hit enter, and then I'm going to use answer, which refers back to that. Divide by A, because that's again the same value. And now we have what this side is equal to, 753386.2818. Now I'm just going to divide and then put this stuff in parentheses since it's just one set. I'm not going to write it down, but you can write it down on your paper if you want, because you can always just go back in the history of your calculator by hitting up. But we have 1 plus A to the 360 power, and we should find that A is about $125,000 and $125,093.71. And if we look over to the answer, they got the exact same number and then said, therefore, she can borrow about $125,000. So I'm guessing in problems like this, they, when they're looking for the amount they can borrow, they might round it like quite heavily because they're rounding down $93. But all right, hopefully you got that same answer. And now we will do one final problem. And this one, I will just give you the problem. I'll read it out loud, and then I will do it, and hopefully you got the same answer as me. So let me find a different problem. We'll do this one. I'll just read the question word for word. Miguel borrows $175,000 at 5% annual interest compounded monthly to buy a house. If Miguel takes out a 30-year mortgage, what will his monthly house payment be? Now again, start by writing out all the variables you're given in the problem, write your equation, plug them all in, then plug into the calculator. Okay, pause now and do it. And now I will start. So we have $175,000, I'll just put K for now, at 0.05 interest. I'm just going to write 0.05, 5%, 30 years, and it's monthly. Most of them, I'm guessing, are going to either be monthly or yearly, and from what I recall. So now, we know it's 175,000. I'm still just going to write K, but if you, obviously on paper it's easier. I'm writing this with a mouse. That's parenthesis 1 plus 0.05 over 12 to the power 360 equals, we are trying to find his house payment, so we're looking for P here. Look, I remembered to open the parenthesis twice. We again have 0.05 over 12 to the 360. 30-year mortgage plans are pretty common, so that might also be, you can remember, 30 years is going to be to the power 360. 30 times 12 isn't that difficult, though. All over, again, that's parenthesis, my bad writing, 0.05 over 12. All right. Now let's open up our calculator. And I'm going to start by putting 0.05 divided by 12 as my store to my A value. Again, you don't have to do this. I just like doing it, and I, use my calculator a lot, so I remember all this stuff. 175,000 times the quantity 1 plus A to the 360 power. Okay, we have this big number. And also, just a life lesson here. $175,000, that's like an average house, like when you think of about here. If you get a loan, this is about how much you're going to be paying back. $781,000 for a $175,000 house. That's why you don't want 5% annual interest compounded monthly. This is essentially what you're paying to wherever you're borrowing from. Now we're going to multiply by that A value. And now we are going to divide by quantity 1 plus A to the 360 power minus 1. And this should give us our answer. $939.44. And let's see what the guide said the answer was. $939.44. Wait, did I? Oh, yeah, I just misread it. I got the right. My calculator got the right answer. I just misread it. Okay. Well then, there we go. Now let me. It's so bright. The light is right in my face. I'm trying to get off to the side here. Hopefully you got the same answer as me. Let me just go back here. Sorry, I'm off to the side. The light is shifted to where now it is right in the center. For these types of problems, I don't remember if I already said it, but I recommend skipping them and doing them all last in a row. But now you should know how to do it. If you didn't follow any of my logic anywhere, you can comment it on the video, or you can come up and talk to me in school and I will show you, or in practice. Yeah, so hopefully you got it. This was a really big topic on all the math tests we've had so far. I'm guessing you guys have seen it since you've all taken the math tests. Yeah, so I'll see you in the next video.